We are live. It is now the 29th of May, unless you're in Israel, where it is the 30th of May, 1:30 in the morning. And we are going to go over our homework for lesson 20. Let me throw this up there just so you see it. We are in Seow's grammar, lesson 20's homework. And I hope that you will have plenty of time for questions and to ask anything that might be confusing to you. Again, this is Biblical Hebrew 101. I've been teaching through it. Jonathan was going to be teaching with me, but he had a life happen, so he's out of it for now. This is what we're looking at on Monday. That's this coming Monday. We are going to be continuing with David's story, and then teaching through lesson 22 and touching on the infinitive, absolute, and object suffixes with the imperfect imperatives. I would correct that we will not be meeting on Thursday, June 5th. That is an exciting day. I'm going to be going for my first time to Pride in Jerusalem. So we're going to move the homework test up, or the review up here, and we'll get through as much of it as we can. We probably won't cover all of it, but we'll get through most of it. Then the following week, continue with reading and lesson 23, infinitive construct, which is really the best thing ever. With that, without any further ado, we've only got one viewer out there, it says. So if you're enjoying this, please let me know, because otherwise, maybe I'm wasting my time if nobody's going to come. I'd like to go to sleep at 1:30 in the morning. I want viewers and I want interaction. But we have here parse the following forms. We all hate this parsing, and especially jump right into it. But this week's homework, the exercises are a bit different. They don't have the A, B, C, D parts. It's much simpler. I want to look and see exactly. It's got part A, which we're looking at right now. Part B is translating into Hebrew with the verb consecutive. And then part C is translating the biblical passage, Genesis 22, which is called the Akedah in Hebrew. Akedah, because this is the part where Abraham binds Isaac and puts him on the altar to sacrifice him. And then he is stopped from doing so. Okay, so this va te is obviously the prefix. Va is the verb consecutive, and te is the second person singular. Can also be plural. In that case, with the e, we know that it's singular and feminine. So the root would be Zain. Zain. Can't write Zain. Hello. Zain nun hey. It's yod technically. And this is the root for going and doing like prostitution, right? To act a prostitute. Vatizni, and you played the prostitute. You fornicated. That's the word. It would probably be directed at a nation, like you fornicated with other gods. That's generally the idea. So this one is from Yashav. Yashav. In the kal, vayeshev, the imperfect is yeshev. Yeshev with the accent here. When it becomes vayashev, the stress moves, and this is now short vowel because it's unstressed. Okay, vayeshev, he dwelt, he sat. Vayelech, the same principle where we have yelech from halach. Okay, let's see if anybody's joined me. If anybody wants to get on from Patreon, you're welcome. Yelech, he will go. Vayelech, he went. He went. Number 4, yikach. Yikach means he will take, or he would take, something like that. Vayikach, and he took from lakach. Okay, so all of these are kal. They're all kal. Imperfect, okay, imperfect, and then it would be like these three are 3ms of whatever the root is, and then translation, and he did. If we're thinking of parsing, Vayhi. Vayhi is from Yeh, Yeh means he will be. Okay. When we want to make it adjussive, we remove the last syllable, and it's yeh, yeh, which we can't say. Y-I-H-Y. We can't say that because this is a consonant at the end of the word. What happens is we have a restructuring of the vowels, and the chirik goes here, and then this one is reduced, yehi. We're going to see this across Hebrew when we have third yod roots, third yod, that when they get left at the end, they rearrange the vocalic structure as E, and the syllable before it reduces. What's a good example in nouns? We have the word, let's say, pirio. In the Bible, it's not pirio, it's perio. But you'd say pirii. Pirii, my fruit. Perio. Could be perio, could be pirio. Like you can find it probably either way, but it means its fruit or his fruit. His fruit. When you drop the suffix, the o, now you have this same situation where you have shva and chirik. This one restructures itself as a vowel, e, and then this one reduces, pri. So pri is the word for fruit. This is it's almost exactly like a segolet structure, meaning that the purpose is to break up a consonant cluster at the end of the word. So resh yod ry. It's a consonant cluster. It resolves by becoming a vowel, ri, and then whatever's before it reduces. So one more example. There are many. This is what we see with kli, vessel, which is kilyo. Kilyo, his vessel. And half, chatzi. Chatzi means half. Half of it is chetzio. Chetzio, I'm not sure about the vowel here. I think it's chetzio. Chetzio is half of it, and the it is the O. When we get rid of that, this vowel resolves as E, and this one reduces to chataf patach. Chatzi. Okay? We have a lot of examples of these. Probably not something that people think of very much, but it happens. Okay, so vayehi is yeh, with this structure that when you have the apocope, you've got the structure that re-establishes itself, and this one reduces. So vayehi means and it was, and he was. Yehi means let him be. Or let it be. So yeshev is masculine. This is feminine. Vatelech, and she went. You can remember that the telech can be either second masculine singular or third feminine singular. So the same thing, vatelech can mean and she went with the third feminine singular, or and you went. You masculine singular. Okay? I'm not getting any feedback. Got two people. Just going to keep pushing on. Okay, next. The word yada, he knew. This is another one of these first yods, like yashav. Okay, he sat, yada, yashav. When you go into the future, you remove that first yod. So, teshev. Okay, we would want to say yedea, but the ayin overcomes it, it becomes yeda. Because remember, gutturals want to color the vowels. So yeda is he will know, and va yeda, he knew. Like this one, yeshev, vayeshev. Vayeshev, vayeda. So this is and he knew. Once you get you get used to the yiktol, no, specifically the vayiktol. Once you get used to this, you can easily read Hebrew narrative because this joins narrative together. That's what it's built on. Okay, here we have Yiv K. Yiv K. Okay, you have an apocryphation, the apocryphy of the hay. This leaves Yiv. Yiv. Okay, for some reason, when you have here any of the K sounds, kof or kaf, it will reach back and make this e instead of e. So yev, this is shva. Yev means let him weep. Let him weep. Yev. And when you make it vav consecutive, it's vayev. And he wept. And he wept. Vayev. Interestingly, I don't know if you guys will find it interesting, but I kind of do. In the New Testament, there is the shortest verse in the New Testament, apparently, is the verse that says, Jesus wept. Okay, that's the shortest verse in the New Testament. In Hebrew, it would also be two words, Vayevk. Vayevk Yeshua. Vayevk Yeshua. Jesus wept. I don't know if it's the shortest verb in the Greek. I know it's the shortest verb in English. Vatahaz. Vatahaz. I wish I could get people on screen who would guess what this is from. But I don't know if anybody's going to guess over in the live chat. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, this is from, we've got the Vav as the Vav consecutive, and the Tav as the transformative. So what we're left with is Chaz, which would indicate to us that we're missing a Hey that's gone through apocryphy. So the word Chazah means he had a vision, he saw in a vision. Chazah. The Tav prefix would be Tachazeh, which could be second masculine singular or third feminine singular. Like it can be you or she, because they're the same form. Remember in the table? They're the same form always. So Vatahaz would be with the apocryphy. The Hey is dropped, and the vocalization was a segolate structure that's been resolved like this. Vatahaz means, and you, masculine singular, or she, third feminine singular, saw, like in a vision. Yeah, had a vision. How about that? Had a vision. Okay. I hope somebody's watching. It says there are 3 people now. But Vatachaz means, and you had a vision, or and she had a vision. Please let me know if that makes sense. Let's look at, I'll look at the apocryphy. Okay, so Ta, Ha, Ze, Tachaze. The guttural in this position reflects the ah of that first vowel. Ya'ase, Yachaze, and so on. So there's apocryphy. And we're left with shva. The chataf patach is shva. So it's technically like this. Tach, z, and we've got ch, z. It's a consonant cluster. So what the natural thing would be to do would be to add eh with the stress. Tachiz. Tachiz. But the chet, remember, is a guttural that colors both in the middle position, it colors both the vowel in front of it. If it were eh, it would become ah, and the vowel under it to become ah. So tachiz or techiz would become tahaz, okay, because of the coloration of that medial guttural. Okay, I keep saying okay, but Ah, got an answer. He said, makes sense. Good. Hope it's not an imperative. You're telling me to make sense. Make sense. But I hope you mean it makes sense. I hope, because I hope it makes sense. Vayiven is also apocryphy. It's yivne. Yivne. And the A it goes through apocryphy. We end up with a nun on the end like that. Yivn, the stress here would naturally be there, and we break that consonant cluster bet nun with segol, yivn. So vayiven, and he built, and he did build. Vayas is apocryphy of yaase. The hay drops off. You've got yas, yas, and the ayin is a guttural. Colors both this one and this one if given the chance. And we have yas, yas, put the stress there. Yas becomes vayas, and he did, and he made, and he did. Okay. This one is from the verb yashuv. He will return, yashuv. Okay. The infinitive absolute is yashov, and it's also the jussive. With the stress here, the O there becomes short. Yashov, let him return. Vayashov, and he returned, came back. Notice Vayeshev, he sat. Vayashov, he returned. Okay, we also have Vayashev. Vayashev, he returned, like he brought back. He returned his book to the library. He returned his people. Yashev, from the Hifil, Yashiv. So the Hifil of Shuv is Yashiv. Okay. Vayasar. Vayasar. This one is a little bit weird because it doesn't go Yasor, but Yasar, and it's also from Sar, Sur. Yasur, he will turn aside. Vayasar, he turned aside. I believe that's Exodus chapter 3. He turned aside to look at the mountain, the bush that was burning. Vayar. Vayar is also weird. It's yir'eh. Yir'eh. With apocryphy, the hay drops out. You would think it would be yir, but it's not. It's vayar. That vowel changes. Sometimes we have unpredictable things in languages, and this is one. Vayar. Vayar. Okay. This form, vayar, if we think of it, we haven't learned nifal yet, but the nifal is vayera, and he appeared. And the hifil, vayere, I think, vayere, and he showed. I'm not sure about that one. It doesn't appear very often. We could look it up if you want to. But in that case, you'd have to give me your feedback. Okay, so vayas is like vata'as. We had vata'as, right? Ta'as. I thought we had. Maybe I went with that one. Vaya'an. I don't remember doing anna. Anna, ya'ane. Sorry, I must have given this wrong because ya'ane means he will answer. Ya'ane. Okay, so we've got ya'an. Ya'an. And that is ya'an. Ya'an, let him answer. Ya'an. And vaya'an, he answered. I apologize. I must have read this as a scene for some reason. Because I remember doing vaya'as, and we didn't. Vaya'as, and he did. He made. Okay, so nobody corrected me. Y'all are not following my stuff. Let's see. Which of the video teaches on apocryphy? I'll have to look back at it for the full understanding of apocryphy. Full understanding is not going to come from these videos. These videos are to be paired with the grammar book, which you should read. Apocopy I talked about in last week's Monday video, not this week, not 3 days ago, but the week before. This homework is dealing with things from that week. Okay, this is like Vayashov. Vayashov, he returned, he came back, but it's the nun preformative, so it's Vanashov, which means we came back. Vanashov, we came back. You won't hear that very often. Va ochel, ochel. Ochel is the future is ochal, I will eat, but an alternative to ochal is ochel. So you can say vayochal, he ate, or vayochel, he ate. So this is I ate, vaochel. In Genesis chapter 3, where Adam ate from the tree, it says, the woman whom thou put with me, or placed with me, gave to me to eat, and I did eat, vaochel, and I did eat, vaochel. Okay. Va tovadna. Tovad is from avad, and the na is the feminine plural ending for second and third person. So va tovadna could be, and you women perished or got lost, or it could be they women, like henna. My screen is playing with me. It went out. I hope you can still see. Vatovadna could be they or you in the feminine plural. Vatiznena. Okay, we said tizne and tizni means you played the harlot, the prostitute. Vatiznena would be you played the prostitute or they. You plural or they. I'm going to try to fix my screen, so it's probably going to mess up here. Did that affect you at all? Were you guys, did it cut out? I don't even know. I pulled my cable and plugged it back in. Va'ira. Ira means I will fear. Va'ira, and I was afraid. I feared. I was afraid. Okay. Okay. He rejected. I assume that this is built on the verbal root mem aleph nun. Okay. The yod is yema'en, yema'en. It's PL. Va yema'en. Va yema'en. This is vaima'en is used in the he rejected, he refused, he rejected. This is used in the Joseph story where Potiphar's wife was putting pressure on him to do things with her, and he refused. Vaima'en. Is there another word? Did they give us the word ma'as in the vocabulary? Let's check it. I don't really memorize the vocabulary in this book, so let's see. I'm kind of boring when I'm by myself, I think. I don't have anybody here to talk to, so I'm just talking to myself. Let's see, refused. Isn't there a dictionary in this book somewhere? Maybe there's no dictionary in this book. That would be fuse. Okay, it says refuse. It says reject ma'as in lesson 20. Ma'as. So instead of that, this is the PL of lema'en, to reject or refuse. So let's see. We use this root ma'as to say that you're tired of something. And in the nifal, we say nim'asli. Nim'asli means I've had enough. I'm tired of it. Yim, I assume it's yim'as, which would make it va'yim'as. Va'yim'as. I want to look that up because I've never used that word. So let's see. Stuttgartensia. Vayimas. Vayimascha. Vayimashu. Vayimas. Okay, so there it is right there. I've never seen that word before, but there are a lot of words that I've not really seen. I know how it works, but I've not seen it. Okay, next. She touched. Okay, the word for touch is naga. The future is not yinga, but the doubled yiga. Yiga, he will touch. So instead of yi, we say ti, tiga, tiga, va, tiga. And she touched. So first we want to form the future, and then we want to spin it around with that vav. Va, tiga, and she touched. He fasted. Okay, the word is tsum. Yatsum, he will fast. Yatsum. We're going to go va yatsum. And let's check that because that's also va yatsum. I'm not familiar with it. Va yatsum. This is not the right way to check it. Vayatsumu, they fasted. Vayatsumu, vayatsom. Vayatsom David som. David fasted a fast with a cognate accusative. Vayatsom. Okay. I haven't gone through these answers either, so I'm going at this dry. He fasted. Vayatsom. She went. We know halach. Halach, the future, drops the hey like a first yod. It becomes yelech for him. Yelech. And the feminine is telech. And the va takes stress here. Vatelech. Vatelech. She went. Okay. We came. This is from bo. Future. Navo. Okay. I'm sorry, I did the future of na, but of course the yavo. Va yavo, the stress remains, so the syllable doesn't reduce. Vayavo, and instead of ya, we say na. Va navo, and we came. We don't need the vav. It can be written with simply aleph. Va navo, we came. Okay. Next, she saw. Okay, we've got yir'eh. He will see. We change it to tir'eh. She will see. There is apocopy. Okay, this is lost. And for this one, we had all of the forms here are irregular. We would say vayar for he saw, but for she saw, we say vatere. Vatere. She saw. This is irregular. You just have to learn it. Vatere could be she saw or you singular saw. Okay. She sat. Yashav. Yeshev. Instead of ye, we say teshev. We say va teshev. Vateshev like vayeshev. Vateshev, vayeshev. Vateshev, she sat. Vayeshev, he sat. He was afraid. Vayira. Okay, more common to write it with two yods. Vayira. He was afraid. Okay, this is first yod. It's a real first yod. So the future is ira. Ira. Tira. You. Ira. Him. Ira. That's two yods. Okay. He saw. We already said this is irregular. Just learn it. Vayar. It's used a million times in the book of Genesis. God created, and he saw that it was good. He saw. Vayar. Okay. I took. The word take is lakach. Lakach. This behaves like First yod, maybe. Yikach. The future for I is ekach, ekach, and the verb consecutive is va ekach, and I took. Va ekach. How we doing out there? I'm glad the screen didn't cut out. My voice is kind of choppy. All right, we're moving on. He died. This is from the word mot, mot or mut, lamut, to die. Okay, that's the infinitive construct that we're going to go over next week. He died. He will die. Yamut. Let him die. Yamot. Joseph. Yamot. Let him die. Vayamot. And he died. Vayamot. Vayamot. Where the stress is moved and the O becomes O. Okay, in a closed syllable that's unaccented. Number 12, she came. Okay, we already had vanavo, we came, so let's just change it to vatavo. She came. Vatavo. Okay, it's got the bo, which in the future, yavo, he will come. Okay, vatavo, she came. You, masculine and singular, said, and we're going to say amar is to say. I would say tomar, tomar, vatomar, vatomar. It could be vatomar or it could be vatomer. Vatomer. Vatomar would be like pausing before the words are spoken, and vatomer would be continuing on. Vatomer lemochorat, blah, blah, blah. Continue, like the sentence continues. He gave. Okay, the word is natan. He gave. Okay. We know that the future is formed with yiten. This is one of the special ones where the nun assimilates into the taf, yiten. And then we say vayiten. Vayiten. Notice that some of them the accent shifts and some of them don't. Vayiten is one that doesn't. Vayiten. But yelech becomes vayelech. Yiten is vayiten. He gave. He went up. This is from Allah. Ya'ale with the garbel in the middle. Ya'ale. Apocope. Ya'al, where the ayin makes it Ya'al. He went up. Vaya'al. Vaya'al, he went up. And the final one before the reading is he camped. The verb is chana. Chana. Okay, the future is yachne. Yachne. Apocope on the end. Yachan. Okay. And for some reason, I feel this should be vayichen. Because it feels vayichar. Vayichar. Vayichar is he got angry, like his nose got hot. Vayichar. Let's check this one because I'm not sure, and we want to be sure. So the way we can do that, another way to do it instead of doing what I've been doing, like just searching vayichen or vayichan. So there's vayichan. Okay, that's the form that I came up with. Another way to do it is to hit search if you're using logos. Okay, and you put here the root chet nun hey. It's not the root that's a scientific root. It's the actual, like how they teach it in the grammar. So to encamp. Okay, from there we go to the end of the line. In English we say at. At gives us this menu. We can tell it verb because we're looking at verbs. We're going to go into the kal and then the vaiktol. If we want specifically third person masculine singular, then we can do that and it will show us vayichen. Vayichen, vayichen, or slicha, vayichan with not e. Vayichan, vayichan, vayichan. If we want less specificity, we can just tell it third person, and it can give us the plurals as well. Vayachanu, vayichan, vayachanu, and if there were feminines, it would give them to us. But that's how it works for search. You make sure you're using a morphologically tagged text, and then you can search it like that. Okay, that's the end of that. We're going to the reading. This week we're looking at Genesis chapter 22, verses 1 through 15. Look at that big section of text. This is the text that is called the Akedah that I mentioned before. Lakod is to bind, like you tie it up together and bind it. So Akedah is the binding. In Hebrew, it's Akedah. Akedah. It's the binding of Isaac. Okay? Akedat Yitzchak. It's a lot of text. We'll just read through it. And if you have any questions, you're free to ask, but there's only one viewer, so probably not. Vayehi achar hadvarim ha'ele, and it happened after these things. Achar is after. Achar, acharei. Ve ha'elohim. Ve here is linked to that vayehi. It's as if it's establishing a vayiktol pattern, but notice that nisa is out of place. It's not vayinas. Vayinas, he tested. It's nisa. So we probably read this, and it happened after these things, as God tested Abraham. Okay, this is because it's not part of the vav consecutive. God, Ha-Elohim, Nisa, the PL of Nun Samech Yod, Nisa, et Avraham. He put him to the test. Vayomer elav, he said to him, Avraham. Okay, he said to him, Abraham. Vayomer, Hineni, Hineni. So he said to him, Abraham. And he said, here I am, Hineni. Behold me, Hineni. Vayomer. And he said, because this is our third Vayomer in a row, right? We got Vayomer, Vayomer, Vayomer. Kach na et bincha, et yichidcha, asher ahavta, et Yitzchak. Look how many times we have this et, your son, your only one, whom you loved, Isaac, et. This has led some people to think, text criticism, that Isaac was added to the story. Take your son, your only one whom you love, and go blah, blah, blah. So some people think that Isaac has been added to the story as an afterthought to create the story of the Akedah. Textual critics come up with a lot of interesting reasons for a lot of things that they think about text and the development of stories. Okay, we have ve, lech lecha, and go forth. Lech, go, lech lecha, go to you, go forth. Go forth unto El Eretz HaMoriah. Go forth unto the land of the Moriah. Probably the mountain Moriah. That's why it's Ha. Like Ha-Levanon is the Lebanon area. This is the mountain Moriah. Ve-ha'alehu. Ha'alehu, this is imperative of the Hifil. Make him go up. Offer him up. Sham. Ve-ha'alehu sham le'olah. Olah is a type of offering. It's a whole burnt offering. Make him go up there as a whole burnt offering. Like offer him as a Holocaust offering. Olah is the Holocaust offering, meaning that the whole thing would be burnt. It would not be eaten. Al achad heharim, upon one of the mountains. Asher omar elecha, omar, I will say. On one of the mountains that I will say to you. Okay, or on one of the mountains, and I'll tell you which one. Okay. Vayashkem, this is hishkim, he got up early. להשכם, להשכים. Vayashkem Avraham baboker. Abraham got up early in the morning. Vayachavosh et chamuro. And he saddled his donkey. He put the pieces on his donkey that he needs to ride. Vayachavosh et chamuro. He saddled his donkey. This is chavash. Lachavosh today we use for putting binding or wrapping on a wound. You also use it for putting on a hat or helmet, the chovesh kasda. There may be other things that you chovesh, that you wear. Anyway, he saddled his donkey, vayikach et shnei ne'arav, and he took his two slave boys, ito, with him, ve'et Yitzchak beno, and Isaac his son. Okay, so he took his two slave boys and Isaac his son. Vayivaka atse ola, and he chopped wood, the wood pieces of ola, the whole burnt offering. Okay, yivaka here, vayivaka is the PL of like bokea, bokea yam. Moses split the sea. Here he is mivakea atzim, or he's Eitzim, he's chopping wood, like separating it. Vayakom vayelech el hamakom, and he got up and he went el hamakom asher amar lo haElohim, which he said to him, the God, which God told him. He went to the place which God told him. Bayom hashlishi, on the third day, Bayom hashlishi, vayisa, and he lifted up Avraham et einav. Okay, on the third day, Abraham lifted his eyes, vayar et hamakom merachok, and he saw the place from far away, merachok. He saw, vayar, the place, hamakom. Okay? Vayomer Avraham, and Abraham said, El ne'arav, to his slave boys. Abraham said to his boys, to his slaves, Shvu lachem, sit for yourselves, po. Shvu lachem po. It means stay here, wait here. Stay here. Im hachamor, with the donkey. Wait here with the donkey. Sit here with the donkey. Va'ani vehana'ar nilcha ad ko. Okay. Va'ani vehana'ar, but I and the boy, that is Isaac in this composition, let us go up to that far. Like, let us go up to there. Let us go up to there. Nishtachave, and we will bow down, worship, bow down. V'nashuva alechem, and we will return, we'll come back to you. Okay, you guys stay here. This is an imperative, and he's using a cohortative for himself and for Isaac in three places. This is cohortative, this is cohortative. I read it as let us go and let us bow down and let us return. But really, it's not like let us, but it's like we will, we wish, we will do it. Okay? So you sit here, but let us go and do that. We're going to go and bow down to God and then come back to you, return to you. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and I'm on verse 6. Moving up. Verse 6. Vayikach Avraham et atzei ha'olah. Abraham took the wood of the offering, the whole burnt offering. Vayasem al Yitzchak beno. Okay, and he put them on Isaac, his son. Notice it's kind of clunky to say Isaac his son, Isaac his son, Isaac his son. And one point he calls him the boy. Me and the boy will go and bow down and come back. We could remove Isaac and still have make sense. He put them on his son. Yeah. So this again, it leads text critics to source critics to think that Isaac has been added to the story. ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת וילכו שניהם יחדיו. So he took in his hand the fire, so he put the wood on his son, on Isaac, and he took in his own hand the fire and the knife, okay, what he's going to use to kill the sacrifice. In this case, he's thinking to use it against Isaac. And the two of them, Shnehem, went together. They walked off together. Okay, so the slave boys stayed to guard the donkey, and Abraham and his son walked on. Okay, here we go. Verse 7. Vayomer Yitzchak El Avraham Aviv. Okay, this would speak against the source criticism, right? Because Isaac seems to be, oh, my computer is now acting silly. Hold on. I see why. Isaac is the one who spoke, so we would need probably to have a subject. Vayomer El Avraham Aviv, it's possible, but it seems like Isaac would be a necessary part of that sentence. So Isaac said to Abraham his father, and he said, Isaac said, and he said, very strange structure. Isaac said to Abraham his father, and he said, my father, daddy. All right. Why would it say Isaac said to Abraham, his father, and he said, father? That is very strange. There's something going on with the text, right? He said, my father, and he said, Hineni, here I am, Vini, my son. Here I am, my son. Hineni, Vini. Vini is missing the bet because it's related closely to the previous. Okay. Vayomer, this is Isaac again speaking. Isaac said to his father, and he said, father. Now we have him. Behold the fire, hine ha'esh, veha'itzim. Okay, this, behold, the fire and the wood. Eitzim is plural, right? It's been plural the whole time. Atzei ha'olah. Ve'ayeh haseh le'olah. Ve'ayeh haseh le'olah. Where is the lamb for a whole burnt offering? Let's see. Seems there wouldn't be a story without Isaac. What place? They imagined that this story was a story that was told and about some father with his son and whatever, about actual child sacrifice. It was a tale of someone actually sacrificing his son to God in a pleasing way, because this is something they did back then. And then the editor or composer of the Torah took the story and inserted Isaac into it, and then broke from the tradition of the praising of child sacrifice to make it abhorrent and to make it to oppose that practice by having God save the child rather than let him be offered up as a sacrifice. So there is something to the criticism. I think that's actually probably correct, that the story developed and that it was adapted and changed. Anyway, verse 8 says, Vayomer Avraham, Abraham said, Elohim yir'elo haseh le'olah b'ni. This is the direct voice, the direct address, vocative. Abraham said, God, notice the placement of God. It's in the beginning. It's pulling focus. Will see to him. he will provide for himself. He will provide for himself the lamb for sacrifice, my son. Okay. This is where we get the expression Jehovah Jireh, right? It's not Jireh, it's Yireh. Adonai Yireh. The Lord will see. And by seeing, it means he will provide. The Lord will provide. Okay. So, Vayilchu shnehem yachdav, which we saw up here. Vayilchu shnehem yachdav, Vayilchu shnehem yachdav. And they walked on together, two of them. Okay. Verse 9 says, Vayavo. It's a vav consecutive. Vayikol, they came. Vayavo el hamakom, to the place. Asher amar lo ha'elohim. They came to the place that God told him. We had this amar lo Elohim, right? Or yomar lo Elohim in the future. Vayivin sham, this is from Bana, he built. Vayivin sham Avraham et hamizbeach. Okay, Vayivin sham Avraham et hamizbeach. Abraham built there the altar. Vaya'aroch et ha'itzim. Okay, Ya'aroch is from arach, means to set or to lay out. Those who are religiously Jewish might remember the book Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch means a laid out table, a table that's been laid out for a meal. So to set the table is la'aroch et hashulchan. So he laid out the wood on the altar. He built the altar and then he laid out the wood. Vaya'akod. This is where we get the word akidah. La'akod, to bind. Vaya'akod et Yitzchak beno. He bound Isaac his son. Vayasem oto al hamizbeach. This is yasim. He will put. So he put him upon the altar. He bound his son Isaac and laid him down on the altar. Mima'al laitzim. From above the wood. Okay, the from is a funky thing in Hebrew that you just have to get used to it. It says from, but it doesn't really mean from. Okay, mima'al le means above. Vayasem oto al hamizbeach mima'al la'itzim. He laid him on the altar above the wood. Vayishlach Avraham et yado. This is normally what we say when you want to kill someone. You send your hand out. He would send his hand out. We saw this with David in the cave on Monday, where he said that Chalila li Adonai, may the Lord not allow such a thing, that I should ishlach et yadi b'mishiach Adonai, or something like this, that I should send my hand against the anointed of the Lord. Right? Good. So here he says Abraham sent his hand and took the knife. Vayikach et ha'ma'achelet. The ma'achelet lishchot. This is the word for shchita. It's to butcher. That's what you do to an animal. You butcher it before you eat it. Lishchot et beno. He stretched out his hand and took the knife to butcher his son. To butcher him. Normally, lishchot is to cut the throat. Not a good picture. Vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashamayim. Vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashamayim. The angel of Yudhevavhe, the angel of Adonai, called to him from the sky or from heaven. I don't know what's going on with the placement of that patach, but it is what it is. From the heaven, Vayomer, the angel said, Avraham, Avraham. Remember before, when God called him, he says, Avraham, and he says, Hineni. Now he says, Avraham, Avraham. There's urgency there. He's calling out to him twice to really get his attention. Vayomer hineni. It's exactly the same thing. And he said, here am I, behold me. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry. We're going to verse 12. Vayomer al. Okay, so he said, al tishlach yadcha el hana'ar. Do not send your hand to the boy. In other words, don't kill him, right? The al ta'as. This is the jasiv. In modern Hebrew, we would not say al ta'as, we would say al ta'ase, because we don't use a jasiv. But in the Bible, ve'al ta'as lo me'uma. Don't do anything to him. The word me'uma means nothing in a negative context. Me'uma means anything. It's from ma, like what, u, ma, what and what. What and what, meaning anything at all, and they ram it together instead of hey, it just has a vowel, a guttural, like a glottal stop. Me'uma, me'uma. Okay, me'uma, nothing. Al ta'aslo me'uma. Don't do anything to him. Okay? So again, al tishlach yadcha ela na'ar ve'al ta'aslo me'uma. Don't do anything to him. Ki, because ata, now, yadati, I know. For now I know ki yireh Elohim ata. Yireh Elohim ata. Ata. This is in pause. Stress is moved. Ata. So for now I know that a fearer of God are you. You are one who fears God. Velo chasachta et bincha et yichidcha mimeni. Okay, lachsoch, this word means that you hold something back, you withhold. We use it in banking terms to say that you save money. Ata chosech. You save money means you don't spend it or waste it. So in this case, you didn't hold back. You didn't withhold your son from me. Okay, you didn't hold back your son, your only one, from me. Is Isaac Abraham's only son? Yachid. No, Isaac is Abraham's second son. His first son was Ishmael. So that's another indicator maybe this story is not original to Abraham Isaac, but we've reinterpreted Yechidcha instead of as your only son, which is what it really means, to your precious son or something of that sort. But it could be that he's the only one of this type, the only one who's going to inherit. But technically, both the Greek uses monogenes and this also uses yechid. They both mean the only born generally. Vayisa Avraham et einav. He lifted his eyes. This is the second time. The first time he lifted his eyes, he saw the place that God told him. And now it's the second time he's lifting his eyes, and he saw Vayar v'hinei ayel achar. Okay, achar, it's like acher. It's another one. He saw another ram, ayel. Ne'echaz basvach. Sorry, I'm used to saying schach, but this is svach. So he saw another ram. This is being held. It's nifal. Being held. We use also leheachez or ne'echaz in the nifal to hold on to something, but obviously the ram isn't holding on to it, but it's being held by its horns, bekarnav. It's being held in the bush or in the thicket, whatever the plant, right? The thing that's there. It's locked up. Its antlers are locked up in it, so, or its horns. And so he sees that. Vayelech Avraham vayikach et ha'ayel. Okay, so Abraham went and took the ram. Vaya'alehu le'ola. And he made it go up. as a sacrifice tachat beno, instead of his son. Tachat means instead of. Today, tachat means rear end, your butt, tachat. But back then, it meant instead of. Instead of, in modern Hebrew, we say in place of, bimkom beno. And tachat means under. Okay. Vaikra Avraham Shema Makomahu. This is where we get to that Jehovah Jireh thing. Vaikra Avraham Vaikra Avraham Shema Makomahu, the name of that place. Adonai Yireh, the Lord provides. The Lord will provide. May the Lord provide. It's not Joseph really, but the Lord provides. The Lord sees. Asher Amar Hayom Behar Adonai Yireh. Okay, now this is an interesting etymological comparison. It says Adonai Yireh, which literally means the Lord will see. And it says, and it is said today, on the mount of the Lord, he will be seen, he will appear. So this is apparently an expression from the time. Behar Adonai Yireh. God will appear on the mountain, probably because people would worship God and other deities in high places. And they imagined God appearing when they would walk up the mountains and be close to heaven. And also on Mount Sinai, God appearing on the top of the mountain with thunder and lightning and smoke. So there's an expression, Behar Adonai Yireh, could be either on the mount of the Lord, he will be seen, or on a mountain, the Lord will be seen. And this is Nifal of Yara. Nifal. Vayikra Malach Adonai el Avraham, the angel of the Lord called out to Abraham, Shenit. Shenit is a second time, Min HaShemayim, from the heavens or the sky. And that is the conclusion of the reading. That was a lot. But I think that the more Hebrew you read, the better you get. And this book does provide a lot of good Hebrew reading exercises. Again, next week, we're going to have a shortened homework review because I'm going to be adding it to the second hour because I won't be here next Thursday. So please remember, don't show up next Thursday, but do show up on Monday. Thank you guys very much. I hope this was enjoyable, and I hope that you learned something. And we'll see you next time on Monday at midnight, 5 p.m. All right, bye-bye, guys.